What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown Podcast. Always, I am your host, Michael, alongside the man of the hour, Mr. Jeff himself.
Hello.
And as always, the Rundown Reject.
Wow, we're going to stick with that.
You haven't given me anything. I have the Rundown Reject. I have the Taco Hot Sauce Connoisseur. You just let me know, and we'll go with it. Evan, as always. And our very special guest this week, who is someone else who's very close to Big Deadly, Miss Unicorps, a.k.a. Sarah. How we doing?
Good. I'm sorry if you hear some echo, but
It's fine. I'll see if I can get rid of some of that echo post editing. How you been this week? What's going on with you?
oh, I've been good. Quarantined with Evan, so I'm doing a lot of streaming stuff, so working on it.
Nice.
And gaming a lot.
Hell yeah. So for everybody out there, tell them a little bit about yourself that may not know you
Oh,
and what Unicorps is all about.
So
Hey, hold on real
so
quick
I've
before we
started
go any further.
streaming-
Evan, do you have a push to talk on there, or any way of doing that?
Yeah, I'm already on it.
It's a good question.
Awesome. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I started streaming just over a month ago, and so that's totally new for me. And I really got into it because of all you guys, and my in real life friends were just like, you do a lot of cool stuff. You should probably start streaming. So here I am.
Hell yeah. Well, I know everybody. We're all glad to have you here. I know everybody in the community is super happy to have you there as well. I think honestly, and I've told Evan this since day one, even before you started streaming. And the reason that I wanted you to start streaming so bad is because you stream a different type of niche than what we do. We play, the first-person shooters, the storyline, the AAA titles. We play that type of stuff. But you, on the other hand, you kind of have your own little community there with like the Animal Crossing and I believe the Rocket League and the Super Smash Brothers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm just gonna move my camera down just a little bit.
Definitely unique.
Hell yeah. Have those always been kind of games that you've been into?
Yeah, I would say Smash Bros, Animal Crossing, those are some I've been playing since N64.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I would say Animal Crossing is GameCube, but same thing. It's been a while.
No. Jeff, how's your week been, man?
I've been sick. So
Oh
been
yeah.
whatever.
We can see it
been
in your
whatever,
eyes a little
dude.
bit.
Yeah, the fucking death looming in the face. Yeah. So I got tested and I failed that, so that was good.
It's the first
That's
time in your
the
life.
test you want to fail.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the first, anytime you want to fail something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was happy about that. I mean, I haven't really been playing much. Like we played the Division on PC, so I'm getting used to that, the mouse and keyboard on a little bit more of an extreme setting. So that's cool.
Have your fingers kind of muscle memory did a little bit?
Yeah, they hurt less now than before, so that's good. So I'm working my way up.
It's okay, man. Once you get through that soreness, it's all over. I promise.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What about you, Evan, man? What's going on, dude? Sitting
Lot
over there like a
of-
shy kid in class.
Yeah, just grinding out the division like crazy. Ultimately, haven't really been doing anything else.
How does it feel to be back on that game after so long? Because and not just you, but I know like probably all three of us. I don't know so much more about Jeff, but how does it feel being back on it after taking a break for so long?
I love it. I miss that like grindy game, and like now that all my friends are in it, it's just like I have that game to look forward to again, And like it looks amazing on PC. I feel like I'm doing better on it, oddly enough. It's a blast. I'm super excited to do this season. Finish that manhunt. I want to see where the story goes.
Oh,
Yes. Evan and I and Basic, I believe he finished it last night too, if I'm not mistaken. We finished the Kestrel part.
Yep.
So we still have Viper and the other three, and then of course Faye. Um, I'm sorry, I want to point something out that I kind of think is kind of funny. Uh, out of the four of us, and then the three of us that have merch, Evan's the only one wearing his merch on camera. So if anybody wants some Big Deadly Grin merch, somebody can grab that in the chat if they don't mind.
I thought about it, but I figured that'd be a little ostentatious.
No, come on, man. It's 2021. The world's tough. You gotta hustle.
That's fair.
Mine's still on the way.
Are you excited? Look at you. You've been streaming what, a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at her. She already got merch.
Yeah,
She's doing big
I
things.
got a lot of merch for streaming a month.
She's doing big things. I'm excited. Well, is everybody ready to get into the news? I know I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, this is a rundown podcast where we go over the week's headline top gaming news. We have everything from the next Tomb Raider game to the Biomutant trailer and why it's been quiet for so long. And also Netflix's Valhalla cast announced for Vikings. Just to kind of give you a little, if anybody's had that Assassin's Creed Valhalla itch like I know I have, I might actually be super excited about it. But the first thing that we'll get into today, I wanted to talk about is G4. If a lot of y'all don't remember, was the channel back in the day that was like pretty much strictly to everything like nerd gaming news related. G4 confirms the revival of X-Play Attack of the Show for 2021. This is from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. G4 has officially confirmed that X-Play and Attack of the Show will be returning in summer of 2021. The news was confirmed on G4's Twitter in a teaser video that features the show's logos, the voice of X-Play's host Adam Slusser, and the text, "We heard you." The Legends return summer 2021. We never stop playing. G4 first revealed the intentions to return in the middle of 2020 during Comic-Con at home on IGN Live, and since then WWE's Xavier Woods has joined as a new host, and Olivia Munn has been in talks to join as a co-host. X-Play was a TV show known for its video games and reviews and was on the air from 1998 to 2013. Throughout the years, it was hosted by Adam Slusser, Morgan Webb, Blair Herter, Jessica Chobot, Lauren Fielder, and Kristen Adams, and more. Attack of the Show was a live TV show about the best in pop culture. It did feature video game coverage, but was a much broader than X-Play and also discussed news, headlines, text, movies, and more. I'm excited about this. I remember growing up always like that was how I got my like gaming news and like my reviews for video games that I knew that I wanted to play was from Adam Sessler, Olivia Munn on Attack of the Show. Attack of the Show was the very first time I'd ever heard of who the hell Philip DeFranco was because he was on there. So what do y'all think?
I'm excited. It'll be good to see this come back. Like, I remember watching G4 like crazy all the time. That and Attack of the Show, and huge Olivia Munn crush. Is she coming back?
Who's that?
Olivia Munn.
Yeah, she's in talks, but she's not gonna be hosting it with Adam Sessler. She's probably gonna be like doing something. She'll be a part of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, because like you were saying, it was more than just like gaming news. Like they did all kinds of crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm excited. Hell yeah.
I am also excited. Yeah, I used to watch that growing up with one of my best friends. I stayed at his house all the time, and we just always sit there and watch it, which is funny because I wasn't even like as big of a gamer back then.
Right.
But we gamed, but it was kind of different styles a little bit. He's also the friend that showed me Shadow of the Colossus.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to see that come back now that I'm more into the world of gaming and even like the whole behind the scenes and all that. Like, I'm super into it.
Sarah, what you think?
I actually have no idea. I used to read Game Informers to get my information. But I'm excited with you guys.
So
It's a new experience.
I'm excited. You're excited.
So here's my big question about it is I don't want to ask the question, do we need it or do we want it? But my big thing is it possible for it to strive in 2021 with how much the internet and everything has grown since it was on way back when? Because now you have, places like, just take one off the top of my head here, Game Ranks, that covers those stories and those reviews that you can get at the click of a button on YouTube, and so on and so forth. I mean, is it still relevant in 2021 to still need all of that?
I think so. I think they're gonna, they'll do their normal show, but I see them having, the same type of content that all these other platforms have.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna probably have videos. They're gonna put all that out, the little ads maybe, Instagram. Like they're gonna have all that shit.
I just go ahead. I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, I was just saying, I'm gonna feel bad for all the other channels that got started since G4 died out, and they've gotten really big, and now G4 is gonna come back, and because they're G4, everyone's gonna be like, oh, hey, that's all we need now, and like they're just gonna like, I can sense viewership slowly dwindling for some of these channels.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, just because like it's G4, dude.
Especially like with as reliable of a source as that was, and a lot of us growing up are gonna gravitate back to that.
Right.
Yeah. And then on top of that, half the people think IGN's full of shit most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So
They've had to restructure their rating system like 2 or 3 times in the last couple of years.
No. Well, no, I'm excited. It definitely makes me feel old, just because I remember being a kid growing up on it, and it's nice to have something like that come back. Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when it came to like gaming, like related, and somebody who was like into video games and did the news and stuff like that, like I crushed on Olivia Munn hard.
Yeah.
All right. Story number 2 today. I don't know how I feel about this. This was just a little weird little story. I thought maybe we could shit on here for a second. But this guy, I don't exactly know where he's from, but this is a story from PCGamer.com from Jacob Ridley. So this guy built a mining rig in the back of his BMW just to annoy gamers. He says he's built a cryptocurrency utopia. Is this the point where we're at now, building mining rigs in odd places just to annoy gamers? Well, here's one guy doing it just to further frustrate people. Simon Burb has fitted his has fitted 6 NVIDIA RTX 3080s into his BMW i8 and says the hybrid car is able to run the rig too. This mining rig is fitted in the trunk of the car and can be powered by the car's internal battery. It isn't particularly practical, however, as the boot, or the trunk for the Americans, has remained open or else the whole thing overheats. But it's not about being practical, he says. It's about aggravating gamers, apparently. Tom's Hardware reached out to Burn to check the system and to see as if it was real and operational, and Burns responded by saying, indeed, and it's just to annoy gamers. He also claims to have visions of a utopian world run by cryptocurrency, although what sort of utopia involves spite building mining rigs in the boot of your car? The mining rig comes in rather shy of 78 RTX 3080 mining farms that Burm also operates, also fitted with the same PNY graphics cards. There's undoubtedly no pressure from the bots on the graphics card not to supply for resale profit, but to build cryptocurrency mining rigs. The impact of either of these practices is not precisely known, but with ongoing component shortages also playing a large part in the shortages, it's also tough to see the wood from the trees as the root is the cause.
Real quick, Tosca brought up a really good question because I'm also curious. What's a mining rig?
So you know about cryptocurrency, right?
Uh huh.
Okay, so
Data mining.
right, data mining. So in order to
Right.
data mine cryptocurrency, you need a lot of graphic power. And the only way to get that graphic power nowadays is you have to run high-end graphics cards. And that's why, was it last year, if I'm not mistaken, last year or the year before? That's why GPU prices skyrocketed, was because everybody started getting into cryptocurrency mining. And that's just how this, in layman's terms, in order to cryptocurrency mine, you have to have high-end graphics cards, and you have to have a lot of them. So that's what it is. But in his eyes, other than him wanting to mine cryptocurrency because he thinks, like a lot of other people, that cryptocurrency is the future, he bought them all because he knew there was a shortage. So that was one, to piss everybody off, and two, he threw it in the back of his car, which was different.
So it's just like a mobile data mining thing.
Exactly. Yes.
Crypto mining.
Yes. But yeah, Tosca,
I
it
was
was
just
in
wondering,
his
does he-
car.
Does he leave it running all the time?
Well, so he said in order
Like,
for it
how
to
often
fully
does he do it?
operate, the trunk has to be open. But I don't know if it doesn't say, but I don't know if it's one of those things where, like, if he is trying to, mine, he basically just goes outside, turns the car on, pops the trunk open, and just lets it run, whatever the case may be. But yeah, cryptocurrency is one of those things. It's kind of like investing in stock. You buy X amount. Once you see it goes up, now it's worth 10 times more. But a lot of people nowadays that think that cryptocurrency is going to be the way instead of cash or banks and things like that.
It's just somebody being a dick for
Yes.
no good reason. It's
That's exactly right.
the way things always are.
But it was just one of those
Every
weird
can.
stories of 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're starting off with a bang,
That
aren't we?
makes sense though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Vehicular mining rigs and fucking chicken warmer consoles.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on that to come out.
What
be
is
good.
that?
Number 3 on our stories for today. I thought this was hilarious. And I thought y'all would get a kick out of this, so I decided to add it in. Maybe you saw it in the news this week. But this is from Joseph Noop over at IDN. Joss Whedon, 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 originally wanted Marvel's Vision to have a penis. If you thought the weirdest thing about Paul Bettany's MCU character Vision was that he was a robot man who's been mysteriously teleported to a 1950s sitcom with his magic wife, well, you've got another thing coming. According to the new interview with Bettany from Lights, Camera, Barstools, and Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron director Joss Whedon originally wanted Vision to have a visible penis during the character's birth scene. I know that Just One apparently really, really wanted the rendition of him when Vision's first is born before he clothed is like he's got to have a penis. Bettany told Lights, Camera, Barstools, and everyone Marvel Studios presents Kevin Feige and and the co-president Lois D'Epicito. Everybody was like, I don't know, I'm not sure. Despite the pushback, Bettany says that Whedon continued to insist on Vision having a penis. He has to have a penis, imitating Whedon. I want to see some... This is weird. Bettany continued to tell Barstool that the artists at Marvel Studios ended up drawing a number of pieces showing Vision again. Let me iterate. A robot man born from the magic of a giant yellow gem with a penis presented to them. And then they went in and sat down, and Josh went, yeah, I'm 100% wrong. I don't need to see any of these. The discussion on the bizarre penile quickly turned to other topics, but it's worth noting that Bethany had previously joked about Vision possibly having a giant purple penis that can change density at any whim. But on the other hand, Whedon has become particularly sore topic in the world of superhero films as of late. The director who stepped in to finish the Justice League, Zack Snyder, has been focused on subsequent allegations of investigating into a toxic workplace behavior during the filming of the DC Ensemble films. Could y'all imagine
Like, does would his penis have a mind stone too? I'm- That's my question.
Jeff, you always ask the real question.
Like, why? Why do you need? You don't need a. You don't
My
need one.
favorite part of this whole story
Just
was
need
he
one.
said after he had him draw it up because that's what he felt like he wanted, they all went to the boardroom and sat down and discussed it. Then he was like, you know what? No, we don't need it.
He's like, that's like,
It's like he did it just to troll them. It was like, you know what?
dude, what if though? What if like he's just like, dude, he's like sitting there with his buddies at the bar. He's like, check this out. This is gonna be so funny tomorrow. I'm gonna go in there and tell the guy, like, hey, I think Vision needs a hang down, and you need to draw me one. And then I need like 15 to 20 different variations, size, density,
Girth.
color. If it's got the silver thing around it too. If there's a mind stone on the tip. Or
Does
at
it
the
have a
base,
mind, powers of its own?
Right? Does he have balls as well?
It didn't say. It just said penis.
So
I want to put a counter when I edit this video. I'm gonna put a counter at the top just how many times I said that word throughout this whole story.
penis,
I think that's a great idea.
I second that.
penis.
Oh, I'm sorry, the counter or Vision having a penis?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of, if you think about it, in normal genetic terms or biology, like a man loves a woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he puts his vision into her Wanda,
Tell me more.
right? And then they have two twins, right? And so you would need a penis and stuff to do that, I guess. I don't know. Marvel's weird, dude. Like, this is what happens when the wrong motherfuckers get a hold of the material. Like,
So if you do want to laugh a little bit more, you can actually go to Lights Camera Pod Twitter link. And they actually have the interview with him basically stating everything I just said. And it's super funny for him to sit here and he's in the video just like, I want to see some drawings of penises. So it's super funny if you do want to see it. I don't know, but I thought that was funny. I thought that was something that should be noted, especially with everybody watching WandaVision these days.
let's give Vision a wiener.
Number
I
4
appreciated that.
on our list today. Netflix has casted Vikings Valhalla cast. Netflix has revealed the principals cast for its upcoming epic Norse saga Vikings Valhalla, a spiritual successor to the history's Viking series, which centered on Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons. Vikings Valhalla takes place around 100 years after the events of the History Channel series and features legendary historical figures such as Norse explorers and the Danish king. For the entire ensemble, for the characters they are playing, to read and check on the list. So, for the Valhalla cast, for Frida, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to pronounce these names.
Oh, try it.
Sam Corlett as Leif Erikson.
Leif
The
Erikson,
Farrakhan's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Frida Gustafsson is Frideus Eric's daughter. Leo Suter is Harold Sigurdsson. Bradley Freegard is King Canute. 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 Laura Berlin is Emma of Normandy. David Oakes is Earl Goodwin. Caroline Henderson is Yar Hakan. Pollyanna, that looks like Macintosh, but it's not, is Queen F. Gifu, Efgifu, Efgu. Sure. Asborn's Krog Nissen as Jarl Carr. Yes, we're going to go with that. Back in 2019, we learned that Vikings Valhalla is getting a 24-episode straight-to-the series order from the streaming giant. Vikings creator Michael Hurst will serve as the executive producer alongside the showrunner and lead writer Jeb Stewart, screenwriter for Die Hard and The Fugitive. Netflix describes the series Vikings Valhalla begins in the early 11th centuries and chronicles the legendary adventures of some of the most famous Vikings who ever lived. These men and women will blaze a path as they fight for survival in the ever-changing and ever-evolving world. So, of course, I brought this story in just because of, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I know a lot of us were playing it. A lot of us were into it. I know I very much was. Is this something that necessarily y'all would be interested in checking out, or were y'all even into the Viking show?
I watched it a little bit. I'm really into Vikings, so I think
Right.
it's cool.
I've never
Where's
seen
the-
Vikings, but I'm totally into it because I had a blast in Valhalla.
Right, and that's the thing. If it concentrates so much on like the Norse mythology, like it's saying that it is, and like I said, I enjoyed so much of the Assassin's Creed game. I think I might actually check this out.
What was the what's that? Is it the Golden Eagle or something like that, or Blood Eagle? Where basically like they cut down their back and rip open their skin, and then rip their rib cage out, and it looks like wings. And that's like
Yeah, that was actually in the game. If you got to that part,
I haven't gotten to that part yet.
yeah, you have to fight this guy. I can't remember his name, but it's probably you don't care about spoilers. But yeah, there's a part in the game where you fight this king and you kill the king, and then you actually end up doing that to the guy, or you don't. One of the other guy, you watch one of the other guys do it.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
No.
That's all I remember from Vikings.
Yeah, and if they're gonna do that, it needs to be like fucking bloody and like awesome. It needs to be like not rated PG-13,
And see, that's the thing about it. Like, a lot of people, from what I know, a lot of people loved the Vikings show.
Yeah, I want to watch
Yeah.
it, but I just haven't. But like, I don't want to feel like I'm watching Xenia Warrior Princess. Like I want a fucking brutal ass show.
Yeah. Vikings.
Vikings was not too bad. I
Yeah.
thought it was good.
It was it started in 2013. It went on for 6 seasons. It had an 8.5 out of 10 from IMDb. It had a 93% from Rotten Tomatoes, and it had a 9.1 out of 10 from TV.com. So, like I said, it was very highly rated, and it was never. I mean, I play games way too much to be able to watch a lot of shows. But I'd like, if I somewhat have time in the future, I would like to get into that one.
You just got to do like an hour a day, dude. Just one episode. Bam. Use that to wind down.
Yeah, no, you're right. I just
Yeah.
get caught up in.
Unless something good happens, and then you're like, oh, next episode, and then you're up all night.
I mean, or don't. I don't care.
Well, no, that's.
but-
I mean, I think really, honestly, I think the only shows that I watch right now, Stranger Things, and like the wife and I have like our shows that we watch, like 911. But like I said, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV.
Don't you need to watch the new season of Attack on Titan?
I do need to watch that. If I
They're like
wasn't
20
up till all
minutes
hours
deep.
of the morning playing the Division 2.
Fair.
Fair.
So say how late did you guys go this morning?
Dude, so we thought it was like 4 something, and then Michael and I were just hanging out and talking afterwards, like after everyone else left.
Which was so weird.
We look at the clock, like, all right, I gotta go. Oh my god, it's 6.
Yeah, he came to bed at 6, and I'm like, what in the heck?
We
are
were
you doing
we
all
were
night?"
sitting there, and it was so funny because we got off, we finished, we did the control point with basic, and then we're like, all right, cool. I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna head to bed, and then either I asked him a question or we went into something else, and
think
I
we
got
kept
to
asking
looking,
each
we
other
kept
questions.
talking, and we're like, shit, we'll jump back in the game. So I jumped back in the game to finish up with something, and then next thing we know, we look, and I was like, oh shit, it's 6 o'clock. my wife's gonna be home in 15 minutes. I need to go to sleep. I need to go to bed. Yeah.
Jeez.
And then it was so
mistakes were made.
And then John texted me at like 9 o'clock this morning. You know, of course, I saw it when I finally woke up at like 2. He was like, "Hey, I'm on the division if you want to jump on." And I was like, "Sorry, I pulled an all-nighter." But it was so funny because when that happened, and I remember laying down trying to go to sleep, I remember thinking of that TikTok where it's like, "Oh, I fucked up."
Yeah.
Didn't I send that one to you, or did you send that to me?
Either or, but I know I've seen it a couple of times since.
So funny.
That's exactly what happened. Sounds like.
Yeah, no, that's exactly
real.
right. And I'm pretty sure I just exited out of a story that I didn't mean to. All right. Speaking of the Division 2 gets a next-gen upgrade next week. The game will run at 4K at 60 frames per second on next-gen consoles. The Division will receive an update next week to support all new next-gen consoles. The news was revealed in a tweet from Jonah Lin over a Ubisoft community developer from the Division 2. Sorry, I lost my point here. He was replaying. It was being replayed to a fan asking about the potentials of the forthcoming State of the Game, which is where the Division 2 developers take part in a live stream to provide fans with updates about the game. No State of the Game tomorrow. The tweet reads, TU 1.2.1 release on February 2nd with the Resident Evil apparel event, a rebalance of the optimization station costs as well as 4K and 60 frames per second support run on next-gen consoles. So while there won't be a State of the Game this week, there is a title update coming to the Division 2 on February 2nd, which will bring, again, support for the 4K 60 frames. I don't understand why they put that in one paragraph so many times. For the next-gen consoles. Yeah, it's literally 2 paragraphs with the same thing. I need to know how much Jordan Ullman gets paid to write that. 2 paragraphs. So the reason that I bring this up is not so much for the next-gen update, because we already know that all of these new games that are coming out, they're all going to be labeled as 4 games at 60 frames per second games. But what I do want to talk about is, since we've been on the PC playing the Division 2, what is some changes that you would like to necessarily see in some upcoming updates, or just kind of where you want to see the game go from here?
Fix the weapon wheel.
Yeah. How many times do I have to highlight my rifle and then pull out a pistol? It doesn't make sense, dude.
Yeah, not only that, but like when you go up, like it goes the opposite direction from what like you would naturally do.
Yeah, because if you go up, it goes to the right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it fucks me up. So
And also, PC game developers,
That doesn't sound
stop
fun.
utilizing the control button. Stop.
I don't mind it.
It's, if you're doing a game and you're playing like this, and then you have to do something to control it, it's this. I don't fucking like it.
Yeah,
Well, aren't
that's
you
why I
kind of
have a
used to that
special
playing
mouse.
guitar?
No, because that's this. It's not this.
Oh, okay.
Have you
Well-
tried holding your keyboard upside down?
Have I tried laying my guitar down?
Hold your keyboard like this.
Like, imagine me running the shit, like just holding the keyboard like this.
Do you have, like, a
Dude,
Can that
strap
be
for it?
Hey, thank you. She beat me to it. Sarah beat me to it. Can that be a channel point redemption? Can we get Jeff to hold the keyboard
Yes,
like this
yes.
for like 2 or 3 minutes? Can we just get you to do this?
250 followers,
I'll
I'll
pay
make.
1,000 for that. I'll
No,
pay
Sarah-
1,000 for that.
250 followers, I'll make a channel point redemption for me to play my keyboard like a guitar.
What are you at?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how far are you?
217.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or-
it's
I got
not
this.
inconceivable.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks.
If you don't do it, I'm gonna do it because that's awesome.
So for me, I'm super excited to see where the story is going. So far, the only bit of information news that we have over the manhunt is that Faye wants one of her people to escort a target. The target is rumored to be Kelso. and then I kind of want to see where it's. I'm excited to see where it's going to go afterwards, because I was telling Evan last night, if they follow the same kind of release schedule as they did with the Division 1. Division 1 came out in 2016. Division 2 came out in 2019. So that should mean that we should get another one next year, and then after we finish Fae, we should have like a whole nother year of like content drop at least, or somewhat. So that kind of leaves me wondering like where the story's going to go next. So that I'm super excited for. As far as updates, I mean, the game has so much now. Like, I don't exactly know what else I would put in it.
More city.
I mean, it's already, like you said, really full. So
Right,
I think
exactly.
At this point, it's time to move on to another one. You know?
Or more city.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, so with that being said, we had the first one in New York. We had the second one in DC. Where do we want to see the third one?
Chicago.
It doesn't even have to be in the U.S., you know?
Because I know you would be really cool. You know, it would be really cool. Listen,
That's true.
check this out. If you do it in Chicago, you can mix Watch Dogs with the Division, right? Like, you could tie those together somehow. I think that would be cool. I would like to see it.
I think they should do it in Gotham.
Oh.
This is Batman in a gas mask. But he can't fly either. He just runs around and has to hit fucking control to vault over stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he does anyways.
And he
can't
keeps
fly.
pulling out the wrong weapons.
I like that, though. I like that you said it doesn't even have to be in the U.S. And I kind of wish a lot of other games kind of realized that. And I think that kind of, I know in my perspective, except for Watch Dogs, which is the only game that, or Watch Dogs 3, that I've seen recently that kind of travels outside of the U.S. So I personally, I think that would be a really good idea. I think that would be cool.
Outside the U.S.
Mm-hmm. For the Division 3, yeah.
I don't want to go to England. But that's like the most populous country outside of America. Like outside of America, right?
What about
Japan or China would be kind of
Japan? Definitely Japan. Maybe Dubai.
cool. Even Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russia.
I mean, like the U.S.
No.
Well, I mean China. But... Yeah, I mean, you could take it anywhere really.
That'd be
Rio.
cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
But then as far as like, I feel like we have some great weapons on there now. Like when I say that, I'm definitely talking more towards like the specializations.
Mhm.
Oh, I got one for you. I know something they need to change. If Evan didn't already figure it out. You can only tattoo one arm. Is that right, Evan? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems to be.
Yeah, we can only find it being able to tattoo one arm on the game.
So dumb.
Yeah, you should be able to do there should be like 7 or 8 screens just for tattoos.
I agree.
So, next story of the day. We have, which I was kind of excited to get Sarah's opinion. I don't know why I thought of Sarah when I watched this. But we did get some news on Biomutant's new up-and-coming game. And this is why the developers have been quiet for so long. After an extended period of being almost silent, Developers Experiment 101 recently announced a May release date for Biomutant. It's a long-awaited open-world action game. That silence, for a good reason. Studio head tells us that part of the game has become bigger and more complex, but only with 20 people to make all that extra work happen. But rather than ship a buggy game, Experiment 101 says that it's been taking its time to quietly build a truly finished product. It's a big game and a big bite for 20 people to chew off. While Biomutant's map may be just 8 square kilometers, it's packed with warring tribes, conquerable outposts, strange creatures to fight, and a protagonist who can mutate into new forms to overcome obstacles As we've said before, Biomutant looks bananas, and its many moving parts are a challenge for the studio behind them. That 20-person team established by ex-Avalanche Studios employees is determined to stay small, but while that helps keep the studio nimble, it also imposes some restrictions. At the end of the project, there's only a certain amount of bugs that can physically fix during the course of the day, says Experiment 101, and that's much of the Biomutant's last year of development has been, is bug squashing. It's been a huge amount of work for Q&A because it's not an easy open world game to find them, and explains, and then once you have found them, we have to fix them, and that puts some additional challenges on us being a small team. Quality assurance isn't the only thing that's been happening at Experiment 101 over the last year, though Biomutant has well mutated in that period too. If you look at the script, by the end of 2019, they think it was about 80 to 85,000 words, pretty much a novel, recalls Experiment 101, but in the final game, it's closer to 250,000 words.
Oh my.
Sarah, what did you think about that link?
So first of all, I totally understand that they want to like make it a finished product. I didn't know it was only 20 people. I can see why they had
I
so
didn't
many
either.
problems. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really good though, from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a company actually waiting till the game's ready to be released to release it. Crazy.
Yeah, I actually like that. I was like, finally.
What?
Well, what did you think about the trailer or 10-minute video that you watched of Biomutant? Is that something that you think that you would be interested in? Because I know it's not necessarily kind of your neck of the woods, but I don't know what stuck out to me about it being something that I thought that you might be interested in.
Yeah, actually, I really like. I thought it had some major Kung Fu Panda vibes. Like, that's exactly
Okay.
what it reminded me of. All the characters. They're all like characters from that movie.
Dude, it's like we were talking about it.
crazy.
It's like the Palicos from Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It looks like where they're from. It looks like Monster Hunter meets like
Yeah. Exactly. And the
Something else.
monsters look like something from Monster Hunter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I saw
Couldn't
one.
tell if it was co-op or not though.
Kung Fu
There was
raccoons
something
and
I couldn't
mutated
tell.
bosses.
There was something that
Yeah.
one of the guys' names was like Puff, something Puff. Like, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Did you see the one guy? His name was Moonster Haunter.
Yeah. Yeah.
it honestly gives kind of like a Breath of the Wild vibe a little bit too. Like, just,
Yeah. A little bit.
like how far the camera is away, and like
Mm.
it's kind of like the artsy, like the way it plays out kind of gives me like Breath of the Wild vibes a little bit.
I like that you're an animal and you're riding on a horse. I like the mixture of all the different species.
Yeah, and I think
Kind of cool.
what
Interspecies erotica.
I think what, no pun intended, what really turned me on about this game was, now that I'm reading about it and what makes me want to get it, is having so much respect for, one, it's a 20-person crew making the game, and two, they don't want to push out a buggy game, which is why we haven't heard anything from them. I know I haven't in years. I think it was 2016 or 2017 when it finally when that trailer dropped. So just out of respect for that, like, I think that's a big reason I'm definitely gonna pick it
Same
up
with,
for me.
That watching that trailer reminded me of another game that was showcased like back in 2017. It was the Beyond Good and Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the second one.
They showcased it forever ago, and then
Mm-hmm.
dead quiet.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's another Ubisoft game too. I'm ready for that one. That one looks really cool. 'Cause they showed off a gameplay trailer like 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and it looks really fun. Like just flying around with the jetpack and shit. Looks really cool.
Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2 was announced in 2008. But after that, let's see. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was announced in 2008, but Ubisoft halted productions indefinitely shortly after the announcement, originally to focus on Rayman Origins. It was at E3's 2017 that Ubisoft revealed that the game wasn't dead. Ubisoft showed the cinematic trailer for the game at E3 2017 and 2018, but didn't mention the game at all during E3 2019. The release date has been a topic of great discussion ever since the game was revealed. After re-announcing the game at 2017 and 2018, Ubisoft hasn't shown off the game at all, leaving many fans to speculate that the Good and Evil 2, like many current Ubisoft projects, is stuck in a development limbo. So who knows? I personally would like to think that we would get something at this year's E3, hopefully. Just to kind of give fans hope. But yeah, no, that's another one that reminded me so much of that one because of the type of characters that you have in Biomutant. So, I don't know. I'm excited for the game. I hope everybody is too. I think it'll be a fun game. I know Beerly Live was saying that he was. Beerly Live said it could be easily one of the biggest games of 2021. It's got multiple different aspects of games that look like they are making them all mix well. So I hope so. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch people play it. It's not my type of game, but I'll definitely like check in and check people out.
Yeah, it definitely looks fun.
I'll play it.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I hope to see you stream it, Sarah.
Yes.
Yes.
Did they?
If I get it. Yes.
Did they specify which consoles it's for, or is it like
There's a bunch.
all encompassing?
There's like PC. The only one they didn't have was Switch, but yeah, PC, Xbox, PlayStation.
Okay.
Nice.
No Switch.
Womp womp.
All right.
Sorry.
So I have two kind of combined stories that I'll both read from regarding Tomb Raider. One is Tomb Raider series coming to Netflix. Tomb Raider is an iconic franchise in the game industry and has already spun off into other media like movie adaptations, novels, and comics. Lara Croft is about to expand her reach further since Netflix has revealed its plans for an upcoming animated series starring the adventurer. The popular streaming service will be the home of the show, which is being made by Legendary. However, unlike many cross-media adaptations, the series will follow in the same continuity as the games. It takes place after the events of the recent rebooted trilogy rather than being its own standalone Tomb Raider universe. It may be surprising at first, but an animated show could be a natural fit for Lara and her particular brand of exploring. The potential of the stylish action scenes and the animated format can show off grand exotic locations without the high production costs of actually filming in those places. Plus, it provides a way to continue Lara's story by putting the narrative front and center. For now, Netflix has not released any images or trailers that could give eager fans an opportunity to figure out where the show is going with its plot or characters, but that's bound to come as yet unraveled release date draws closer. And then the second story is the next Tomb Raider game promises to unite the series timelines. This is from Luke Shaw over at News. Well, technically it's called ngn.com. But News Gaming News. The next Tomb Raider game is set to unify the timelines of the Origin trilogy and the older games, according to a video from Crystal Dynamics. 2020 marks the 20th anniversary of Tomb Raider, and the community team created a video to let fans know what's coming for the celebrations, which they shared via Twitter. Game director appeared in the video to give a hint at what May is coming for the series in the future, talking about the potential for future games. He says that they wanted to link the Origin reboot trilogy that started in 2013 to be the original games, which featured a seasoned and confident adventurer. Kerslake continued saying that the development and team saw a future Tomb Raider unfolding after these established adventures telling stories that build upon the breadth of the core design and Crystal Dynamic games working to unify these timelines. The video also repeated the news that Netflix's Legendary Television and DJ2 Entertainment are teaming up to create a new Tomb Raider animated series, which the streaming platform announced via Twitter on January 22nd. Yeah, that was it.
More Tomb Raider.
I'm pretty excited because the newest franchise was amazing. That was really good.
All right, are you talking the game or the movie?
The game.
The game.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the movie.
His face was like, "Why would you even ask that?" Just like the game.
I loved the movie. I thought the movie was great. I enjoyed watching the movie.
I haven't seen the movie. I
Did
need to
you
finish
hear
Shadow.
people's complaint about it though?
The movie? No. Uh-uh.
The really toxic complaint about it?
Uh-uh.
But probably
Who
the
they
boobs.
casted? So, yeah.
It's always the boobs, dude.
Yeah, so did you ever hear the story behind why she had such big boobs in the game? Of what happened?
No.
So
Teach
funny.
me.
So
Educate.
I don't remember where I learned this. It was in one of my classes actually in college. But they said it was an accident. The developers were making I guess it was in the 3D modeling phase, but they went to like change the percentage on the size and they went to 200%. And they were like, "You know what? We're going to keep that. I like that." So that's why it ended up in the game. It was just an accident. And they're like, "You know what? Let's ship it."
We like it.
Hell yeah.
That's so good, dude.
So, all right. Hear me. This is what I think. This is what I got going on, okay? And I'm gonna fact check myself real quick because I don't want to make a fool out of myself on my own podcast.
That's usually a good idea.
So
I
yes,
appreciate you for that.
exactly. All right. So Santa Monica Studio did God of War. Now here's what I really liked about God of War was it was not based in the same like before God of Wars where it was just this one big hack and slash video game. They went, 20, 30 years in the future. They showed some age to him. They had like a whole completely different storyline, so on and so forth. I would like to see that with the next like Tomb Raider game. Have it be Lara Croft 20, 30 years into the future. She's this hot MILF living in her big mansion, got her money and all these artifacts from like, all the other, expeditions that she went on, and then like have like one final hoorah, that expands over like 3 games, and then her tale finishes. I think that would be good.
So kind of like Uncharted.
Right, exactly. Kind of like how they did like in that final scene, but more of like the God of War style, where kind of how Kratos looks.
Mm-hmm.
So just an aged Laura Croft.
She's got like battle scars everywhere.
Right, exactly. Like I think that would be like a really cool looking Tomb Raider game. Oh, it's just me. It's just kind of what
I think that'd be cool.
because it works so well for God of War. And plus the latest trilogy was just really really awesome. But I think that would probably work well for it as well.
I mean, that's the kind of the downside of falling in love with like so many different franchises too. Is like they're just gonna keep going, you know. And so like when at what point is it gonna be done? You know what I mean? Like just done. I don't think like because there's gonna be somebody wanting to bring it back or continue the story like you were talking about like 20 30 years later or like something like
Or her daughter or son or something. Like it's just
my great mammy was fucking Lara Croft or some bullshit.
exactly.
Oh, y'all seen these pictures of my grandma? She was hot. I don't know. I think it would be good. I'm excited for it. I've always, like I said, I've always enjoyed that series. Not so much the earlier ones, especially the last trilogy.
I want more rounded boobs, not pointy.
All right, as we're closing in on our final minutes here, we got one last story of the day, and of course, as always, I like to try and bring a little positivity into the gaming world because we all know how much toxicity is out there. So in our final story, Alba, a wildlife adventurer, sells help plant over 450,000 trees. This is by Marcus Stewart over at Game Informer. Here's some good news on a Friday. Alba, a wildlife adventurer, used to's wonderful game about conservation has helped do some real life good. thanks to a campaign by the studio to plant one tree for every download of the game. The result has been over 450,000 new trees planted. The campaign is a partnership between USOS and Ecologically, a website focused on tracking climate change by planting trees, which helps reduce greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Paid members sign up to have the Ecological plant a number of trees based on their subscription tiers, thus having their own forest. Us Two created Alba's Forest, which currently houses 465,000 trees planted in the forest across Madagascar and Nicaragua. Besides offering a nice barometer for how the game's performing in sales-wise, it's also cool to see a purchase have a positive side effect. If you haven't played or heard of Alba, a wildlife adventure, the charming game stars a young girl named Alba who tries to prevent the construction of a resort on a scenic Mediterranean island. As I said in my review, Alba Wildlife Adventure reminds players that happiness can be found in supporting worthy causes bigger than yourself. It feels nice to play a game about actively improving the world, and it does so with the skill and charm of instead of an instant cringe. In this video game equivalent of sneaking vegetables into tasty smoothies, this is one good deed that shouldn't go unrewarded. I thought that was really cool, and like I said, it was nice to see the video game world actually doing something good, and I think it'd be kind of cool to, see that in the future sometime with maybe other type of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's always
Yeah, I like that.
the gaming community gets shit on so hard,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody pays attention to half the shit that they pull off, right? So it's always good to see any good deed that they do put in the limelight,
Mm-hmm.
for any amount of time, because it's well deserved. Because we're not just a bunch of fucking pieces of shit in their grandparents' basement, sucking down.
Some are, but
I mean, some of us might be, but whatever.
What you think, Sarah? What do you think of that story?
Happy stories don't sell.
I want to look that up.
So I got mine from Game Informer. Like I said, by Marcus Stewart. But it's Alba, a wildlife adventure. But no, like I said, it's super cool, and I think there needs to, with whether the video game community is in politics or whether it's in toxicity of the players or any type of controversy out there, I don't think that a lot of the times or really all the time, the good never outshines the bad. And like Jeff said, not all of us, some of us we're not all, pieces of shit living in our mom's basement. And I hope to see more stuff like this in the future. So I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like
let me clarify, just because you live in your mom's basement doesn't make you a piece of shit. It's you being a piece of shit while living in your mom's basement.
Thank you, Jeff.
Sorry, I just wanted to...
No, I'm glad you did. Thank you.
it's like when Bungie did the wildfire thing in Australia.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had the relief effort, and when you would donate, you would get like a shirt and some in-game items, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of cool.
If they did in-game items for just charity things, a lot of people would probably be all about that. Like if Fortnite, dude, they would make a killing for charity if they did that with all those skins that these kids buy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had to make sure Travis Scott got his McDonald's sponsorship first, and then they're gonna help him out.
True. Yeah, feed Travis Scott and then help the charity.
Oh, yeah, actually. So, a lot of people ask about Animal Crossing and what's the point, I guess. And so
Anxiety.
I prepared.
It helps my anxiety.
Actually, yeah, that's a big one. So, the history of Animal Crossing. So, Katsuya Eguchi is a man in Japan. In 1986, he got a job at Nintendo, but he was forced to move away from his hometown of Chiba, and he relocated to Kyoto, and that's where Nintendo is actually right now and was at the time. So he worked on a bunch of different projects. He was actually a level designer for Super Mario Bros. 3, but he was still just so stuck with just feeling upset about moving after he settled in. He missed all of his family and friends and stuff. So he came up with this idea for Animal Crossing, which is the three themes were family, friendship, and community. and it was all just born out of loneliness and leaving his family and friends behind. So he wanted to be able to recreate the feeling of spending time with people and talking to them and playing with them. And so he was like, I'm going to recreate this feeling. And that's why he came up with Animal Crossing, which is just you as a character moving into a new town, not knowing anybody, and then getting stuck paying back an old raccoon in a shack. But
An ex-con
meeting
man.
friends along the way.
Walter Nook.
I
Exactly.
love that story because now that I'm actually thinking about the game, like it all makes sense now. For his feelings and then how the game is constructed. And no, I think that's super awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I never read that much into it, so I assumed that okay, it was just game creators sat around and was like, all right, we need an idea for a game. What if we move everybody to an island and we pay this jackass millions of dollars for the work that we're doing, but whatever. That's actually really neat. I learned something new today.
It is wholesome, and I think it does help a lot of people because it's slow paced, and I think it was one of the first games that used an actual clock system. So it's all in real time. It's playing even when you're not playing, is their whole motto. So it's very calm.
Hell yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I am definitely not one of those that, I'm not going to be a poser and say that I played it, way back when, because I didn't. But when I did play the game, like I said, from anxiety-wise, it was great. I enjoyed the game. I definitely see why people do love the game. Hell yeah. To be able to recreate that feeling of loneliness into a fucking $1 million game like that, fuck yeah.
But question though,
Hmm.
like I've played it a good bit. What's the end game?
That's the whole point. There's not really an end game.
Death.
It's just life. It keeps going until you're done.
Yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much. We'll be back in about 5-10 minutes for the rundown retrospect, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.